We moved to defense, and I think this is underrated as well, is because the defense is ranked, because we think of, again, the stereotype is they got to throw it 65 times, they got to win 48-45. And the defense has been one of the top 3 or 4 units in the Pac-12 the past couple of years, and I believe finished third in the Pac-12 here in the last couple of years. So it's been a defense that it still looks undersized and isn't considered that athletic compared to national standards, but it's getting the job done.
Yeah, and that's a testament to Alex Grinch. He was hired as offensive or defense coordinator a couple of years ago. Replaced Mike Bresky, who was Leach's first defensive coordinator. That was kind of a mess. Grinch really brought some stability, emphasis on speed, and that's kind of the direction they're moving now. One of sort of the major concerns of our fan base is the defensive line. We graduated Robert Barber, who was sort of our kind of stud nose tackle guy. And we've had some of those big, space eater defensive tackles over the last few years. Xavier Cooper, who's, playing for the Cleveland Browns. That's another guy. So we've had these guys and they're sort of moving out of the program and not being replaced with more big bodies. And so that's been kind of a bit of consternation for fans. But Grinch insists that that's by design, that they're recruiting guys with kind of big frames, long-rangey guys who can do a little bit more of the one-gap penetration style versus, being kind of the two-gap nose tackle types. So we'll see if it works. They've still got some big bodies in there. Daniel Ekwale is the guy who sort of naturally slides into that spot. He played defensive tackle this year, which is kind of more of a three-gap kind of deal, so he'll take that probably take on that one gap responsibility, that nose responsibility this year. But the other guys, it'll be interesting to see kind of how they grow into it, and what they do, and if they, how his vision kind of comes into play, because, it's definitely a bit of a stylistic change from what Bresky was running. It takes some time, as Oregon found out, right? Trying to switch from what they were doing before to Brady Hoke, 3-4-4-3 and different kinds of guys. And so as Grinch sort of grows and this defense evolves under his vision, that'll be interesting. And the other thing is, the defense improved a lot, and that's kind of the other piece of the overall record improvement. The offense took a jump when the running game got better, but really the whole team took its jump because the offense was pretty good under, Connor Halliday in his senior year. I mean, that was a really good offense, put up a lot of points. It was the defense going from, really horrible to kind of below average that really allowed them to jump up to those 9 wins 2 years ago. And so really that's kind of, as a Mike Leach team, if you can get the defense to average, I think that's really kind of what you're looking for. And that then is what allows you to go ahead and contend for, 9-10 wins. And that's really kind of the big thing as the offense will be good again this year with Luke Falk leading the way. If the defense can take even another step forward, that's how, and as the schedule gets tougher, WSU really kind of benefited from a bit of an easier schedule last year. Not in terms of the non-conference, which was easy, but in terms of the way the Pac-10 played out. They didn't have to play Utah and, didn't play USC. They played UCLA, after Rosen got hurt, so they were exposed maybe a little bit at the end of the year when they traveled to Colorado, lost that game, got destroyed by Washington in the Apple Cup, and then didn't play well in the Holiday Bowl. So I think there's a little bit of a kind of a prove it thing with them, where if that defense can take another step forward, then and they can replace some wide receivers. That's kind of the other question mark. If they can do those things, they should be in line, hopefully, for 8-9, maybe even 10 wins this season.
There you go, college football fans. That's why you pay attention to Washington State. I think first and foremost is to watch Luke Falk in that passing game, because they're just fun to watch, and you never know what Mike Leach is going to do or say. Beyond that, for the past 2 years, I think this was lost 2 years ago, Jeff, is that this team came within a kick with Stanford at home of going to the Rose Bowl, and Stanford, of course, established themselves as by far and away the team in the Pac-12 that season with Christian McCaffrey. But a missed kick on a final drive that went about 60 or 70 yards to go to the Rose Bowl eventually. That's how it would have played out. And then, of course, last year, as you mentioned, before kind of collapsing down the stretch, having the division championship in sight with 2 games left to play. Jeff Nusser, Cougar Center. Please join him there for all your Washington State athletics, and football, of course, is what we talk here. Jeff, we appreciate you coming on.
Thanks. Appreciate it.